So I've been wanting to read more physical comics recently. Normally I use an app like Marvel Unlimited to read everything I want to keep up with because the library of books on there is just insane. It's literally all the comics I could ever ask for. But let's be real here. This stuff is not meant to be read on a teeny tiny little cell phone screen all hunched over as you accidentally click on the screen to go to the next page when you just meant to zoom in on the microscopic sentence a character in the background is speaking. Now I could put down the cash for an omnibus of whatever I want to read, but those things are expensive. Even if I want a paperback epic collection, I have to commit to putting down well over $20 in most cases for something that doesn't even collect the whole story. And now I'm playing this math game to figure out what stories I'm willing to read, and oh my god, manga has it figured out, man. They're cheap and portable and have enough story to get you hooked and willing to maybe read something else from the character if you want. If only they could find a way to compact these comics in a similar fashion that showcases highlight story arcs of each character to get new readers hooked and understanding where they are in this vastly connected world of stories.
Introducing the Marvel Premiere Collection.
No, this is not an ad, I just really like comics. Marvel announced a new series of collected editions called the Premiere Collection, featuring Marvel's most celebrated and prestigious storylines and creators from its entire comic book legacy. That's a direct quote. They are starting with two stories, Daredevil Born Again and Black Panther A Nation Under Our Feet, at only $15. Now this is a kind of response to DC's recent Compact Comics line, which does a similar thing, and it apparently did really well for them and got a lot of people introduced to their stories. Now, being a Marvel guy, I just kind of looked afar in the jealousy, waiting for the day Marvel would finally realize how normal people like to consume media like this, and that day would seem to have finally come. I went to my local Barnes & Noble on release day and found one single copy of Daredevil and Black Panther respectively on the shelf of Marvel stuff they had, and my partner and I snatched the Daredevil one off the shelf as fast as we could. I hope this was kind of because it was the literal morning of release day and they haven't really got an idea of how many copies to put on the shelf yet or something. I have no idea. I'm new to this stuff. I want to go back to an actual comic shop maybe to get that Black Panther one to see if I can get an idea of how well they're actually selling. Now, as for the book itself, I was really impressed with the quality. I believe the DC compacts go for around $10, which is cheaper, but it seems like they upped it to $15 to get the actual quality of the book a little higher, like the binding and everything. The cover and pages are matte paper as opposed to a glossy stock, and I love that personally. I don't see all my oily finger smudges all over the pages, and it just makes it feel like this classic newspaper texture that you would be feeling flipping through an old comic. They're also slightly bigger than the DC compacts, being 6x9, making it easier to read and take in the beautiful art. Now, as for inside the book, we start with just a lovely foreword by the actor Charlie Cox himself, who talks about Daredevil's impact on him personally, how he went from someone who thought Daredevil was just a guy jumping through fiery hoops on a motorcycle to being thrust into this role on a Netflix series and soon to be Disney Plus series, and it's just a really beautiful read. I thought it was really cool they got him for this book, and it just showcases how much he loves the character. Followed by that, we have a lovely intro by Frank Miller himself. I wouldn't skip this because I found it a really excellent way of setting the tone of the book itself without spoiling or giving away pretty much anything. Now after that, what's included is one of the darkest, most brutal, and thoughtful stories ever featuring Matt Murdock. I still have a lot of Daredevil I need to read, but I can totally see how this inspired the tone and landscape for the Netflix series, and really was a part of this new era of comics at the time as well. I wanted to try to read an issue a day to let the book last, but I just couldn't help myself and immediately started flipping through to the next part of the story. It was simply a fantastic read, and my partner got to read along with me, so that just made it even better as we got to kind of talk about the story as we read along. Overall, guys, I obviously at this point highly recommend you pick one of these up if you just want to jump into a comic and a specific character with a guaranteed awesome complete story packed inside. Like I said, they go for $15 $15, and they also have Black Panther out right now. Soon they're about to drop another batch with Captain America the Winter Soldier and Fantastic Four Solve Everything by Jonathan Hickman, which I will absolutely be picking up. I'd also personally love for them to find a way to get some Spider-Man stories in here. Spider-Man's a little harder to work with because his stories are naturally a bit longer in nature, I feel like. I wonder if they'd be willing to split these premiere collections into parts, like if you split a Spider-Man book into a trilogy. I don't know. Guys, let me know in the comments if this is cool to you, if you're thinking about getting into comics and picking one of these up, or maybe you're an avid collector and don't see a point in collecting these short stories in paperback form. That's it for me, guys. As always, make sure to leave a like if you do, subscribe if you're new, and make someone smile today. Bye, guys.